There were no written technical manuals. You're still dealing largely with an illiterate society. And to give you some sort of sense of how dangerous it is, there's a favorite anecdote of mine that comes out of Laxdala saga, one of the great family sagas of Iceland. And one of the characters in there, Olaf the Peacock, delightful figure, really. Around 960, was sailing from Norway back to Iceland on a very well-known route. I mean, he had sailed it a number of times, and they ran into foul weather, and sure enough, they had mist for a number of days, and they got all turned around. Finally, the mist lifts, the sun comes out, they get some sort of read on the latitude, but they don't know what direction they're going, and the crew gets confused and gets into an argument and debates and decides to take a vote on which direction to sail. Now, you have to realize you're out in the middle of the North Atlantic. You left the Shetlands days ago. You could end up sailing in a very, very wrong direction here. And Olaf refuses to abide by the idea of a majority vote and instead goes to the skilled navigator and tells him to decide, noting, as he says, "I want only the shrewdest one to decide because, in my opinion, the council of fools is all the more dangerous the more of them there are," which also gives you a pretty good, savvy, pragmatic sense of Norse skippers. There is no accident that Thor is the most favorite god of the Icelanders, because he's the god of skies, of mists, of storms, of rains. I mentioned, I believe, in an earlier lecture that Helgi the Lean, who is a brother of Un the Deep-Minded, this wonderful family that leaves in the early 10th century and establishes so many important families in Iceland, and whose descendants are the subject of so many family sagas, that Helgi the Lean always said that on land I will worship Christ, but at sea I always invoke Thor. And again, another part of the very practical aspect of Icelanders that comes up time and time again in their sagas and in their laws.